This is StoryRobot. Welcome to r/Tales from the Front Desk. Our first story of today is, Lady Had a Baby in the Room. Bit of a different perspective for this story, as I was a guest and the lady who had the baby is my wife. For some background, my wife was 38 weeks pregnant with our third kid. The first two were both delivered by C-sections and our local hospital doesn't entertain VBACs, vaginal birth after cesarean, so the whole pregnancy we've planned on traveling to a city just shy of 100 miles away that's more VBAC friendly. Also in the plan is to have the baby at a birth center with a midwife, using the hospital as a backup. 11 days before the due date, my wife has her weekly Monday appointment with her midwife. This lady works with the one in the other city. The midwife checks and says my wife isn't in active labor, but you should expect the baby within the next day and a half. She recommends that we gather our stuff and head to the other city at a more relaxed pace than having to do it in a panicked rush. We bring our 4- and 5-year-old, expecting to call grandma a bit closer to go time to come watch them. We make the drive and get to town around 5, grab coffee, go out for a leisurely dinner, and check in with the midwife, who tells us to check into a hotel and get some rest. Still no active labor, but she says, I don't think we'll send you home tomorrow with an empty car seat. I pick a hotel less than 5 minutes from the birth center and we check in around 8. We brought waterproof Chucks pads inside in case her water broke or something, and had things ready to get out the door in a hurry. I get the ladies, kids and my wife, down to bed at 8:30 o'clock and text my parents to expect a new grandbaby the next day. 20 minutes later my wife's water breaks. I call the midwife to get her headed to the birth center and throw the stuff and the kids in the van, dodging other guests who are slowly meandering their way down the hall or pushing their luggage cart in through a side door that wasn't meant for those carts. I finally go back to the room to help my wife. She says she can't move because the baby is coming now. I call the midwife and redirect her to the hotel we're staying at, frantically get more pads down on the floor, rearrange the furniture to create as much space as I can, and freeze. The kids are left alone in the van, wife's trying to push our next kid out, and I have a set of towels and an ice bucket and no clue what to do. Luckily I didn't have to wait long for the midwife to show up and she was even able to get her birth assistant to the hotel as well. We set up near the window as there's a bit of space there, and the beep heater keeps kicking on and blowing right at my wife. In between pushes I bring the kids in and have to grab them snacks, get toys, hold them over the potty, whatever I can do to keep them from melting down while we have this baby. Thank God the midwife knows what she's doing and we bring this little girl into the world before 10 p.m., just an hour after everything started. At some point the assistant visited the front desk to get more towels but still hadn't let them know we were having a baby in there, mostly to prevent the FD from calling an ambulance and bringing even more chaos. Grandma shows up around 11 and I head to the lobby to meet her. I look at the FD lady and she asks how it was going. Exciting, I say. I don't know how many times you've heard these words, but my wife just delivered a baby in your hotel. FD lady says, wait, really? Wow. Do you need me to call an ambulance or something? No, everything is fine, this all happened about an hour ago. Really? We didn't even get a noise complaint. The adrenaline subsides and we all go to bed. I finally get up around 8:30 o'clock to grab breakfast and I hear people talking about it at other tables. Eventually, I get the kids up and bring them and the baby down to the FD to share our story. Far from upset, they actually had gifts waiting, including a blanket and jammies for the wee lass. The GM asked if she could take a pic and share it on the location's Facebook page. We end up checking out that day, not even a late checkout, and traveling home. I submitted a news tip to the paper, thinking it might be a fun story somewhere deep in Section C or whatever. Not only did they call me back, they sent a photographer to our house and ended up running the story on the top of the front page. All in all, it was a pretty cool way to welcome a new member of the family. Our second and last story of today is, guest destroys his room, now I get to go to court. Last Saturday, we had a sold-out hotel thanks to the state wrestling championships for elementary school students being held at the local convention concert sports arena. I walked in for my usual night audit shift to a lobby full of parents partying like they are still in high school, and a phone ringing off the hook due to said parents not watching their children and letting them run wild. After about an hour of getting things settled down on the floors, I start running my audit when I hear a group of the more rowdy adults proclaim that they are going to the casino that is right up the road from our hotel. They leave out and everything is nice and quiet. I'm able to get my audit done, clean up the lobby from the other guests and everything is going great. Then 3 a.m. hit. One of the gentlemen that went to the casino came up to the front door, minus his shirt and with his belt completely undone. He's obviously drunk out of his mind and tells me that he lost his key and needs to get another one made, tossing $40 at me as a tip. I get him his key as I knew who this guy is and what room he's staying in. I asked him how the casino was and asked where everyone else was, and was told they were out at the back door having a cigarette before coming in, and that he was hot so he took his shirt off. Whatever, let's get you back to your room. I get the key and escort him back up to his room, mostly to make sure he didn't disturb any other guests, and partly to make sure he didn't decide to just sleep in the hallway. I get him in his room and wish him a good night, and head back to the desk, thinking that was it. Oh, how wrong I was, my friends. No sooner had I got back to the desk when I get a call from a room on the same floor saying that someone was out in the hallway kicking on a door. Knowing exactly who I'm going to be dealing with, I race up the stairs and step into the hallway, and I see my big tipping buddy, now clad only in his boxers, standing in the hallway kicking his door. I walk up to speak with him, and luckily his wife and friends come in from outside. She opens the door, and tells him to get back inside, and apologizes to me for her husband's state. Apparently he didn't like this, and I see him punch a hole in the bathroom door right as the door to the room closes. Now, I have to get the police involved. I call 911 since I was away from the desk and didn't have the non-emergency number, and head back to the desk, hearing the argument escalating through the door. I let the dispatcher know what was going on and that I would need this guy removed from the hotel. As I'm on the phone with dispatch, I start getting calls from the other guests, letting me know that it now sounds like there is a riot happening in the room. I let the dispatcher know, and next thing I see 6 police cars come screaming into the lot. They head up to the room, and about 5 minutes later they come back down with the guy in cuffs and throw him in the back of one of their cruisers. One of the officers came by the desk and said we'll probably want to press charges against the guy cause the room was destroyed. When she said destroyed, she wasn't kidding. This guy had punched holes in the doors, thrown the desk chair against the wall, putting a hole in it, thrown the TV to the ground, ripped pictures off the wall, and bled everywhere. His wife is shaken up, as are his 2 kids, who were in the room when his rampage started, but luckily his wife was able to get into her friend's room with the kids before anything happened to them. Hell yeah, we're going to press charges. He gets carted off to jail, and I get to go and take pictures of everything and help his wife move their things over to her friend's room so they can try to get some sleep before heading out to the wrestling tournament. I walked into work tonight, and sitting in my box was a nice, shiny summons from the court ordering me to come and testify at his court date on May 1st at 10 a.m. Got to love that audit life. Thank you for watching. Error. Problem detected. Not enough subscribers. Please subscribe, like, and comment.